Brandelyn Green understands the value a strong community can bring to a small business. Her company, Voice of Hair, helps women of color find the best hairstylists, hair products, and hair extensions through a portfolio of pictures, videos, and reviews. But the idea for her company came from a situation involving her health. In today's Inclusion Forward segment, we get to learn more about this rising entrepreneur and what drives her. Brandelyn, welcome to the Small Business Matters podcast.
Thank you for having me, Gary. Excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you, Brandelyn. Could you share a little bit about how your business got started?
Sure. Um, my background is in industrial engineering, and then I went back and worked in the CPG industry for a while. And I thought that was like my dream because I was like a CEO of a little brand, but I realized it wasn't. So I came to Austin in 2014, and I had always struggled to find a great hairstylist. So I wanted to um, create a platform that could help women of color, and really a lot of black women had this issue where we move to different places and we can't find trusted stylists. Well, I was building this portfolio or this two-sided platform and just had a lot of development issues. And so I said, let me just start with social media to see if people even like are trying to find hairstylists, so really to kind of build out an MVP in a way. And on Instagram I started just highlighting hairstylists that I thought were amazing in different cities, and my audience grew really quickly. In the first year, our community grew from 0 to 100,000 followers, and then every year after that, it seemed like we grew at least 100,000 more followers. And so then I started to kind of work with other brands, and people, wanted to promote with us, which which was cool. Excuse me, but it wasn't until 2018 when I kind of had like some health issues. I found out that I had a non-cancerous brain tumor, a pituitary tumor, that and it was affecting my hair, my fertility, and it was making my hair fall out. And I was like, you know what? I need to create a solution for myself, and hopefully, if it works, I'll share with my community.
Wow. So was this your first business?
Yes, this is my first business. That yeah, it is.
I mean, I don't think we can call this beginner's luck, right? I mean, you just watching the growth cycle of your business. I mean, you started in it's 2014, right?
Yeah, I started posting to social media in 2014, but I did not launch my first physical product until 2018. So the first 4 years, I was really building community. Honestly, I pivoted like 10 times. I was trying to figure out, what can I do with this massive community? But also, so I just kept serving them, and then finally, I had that problem, but then I also asked them, like, what do you guys want? And people were always sending me DMs, emails, like, can you please tell me which products are going to grow my hair? Or what products do you recommend for this issue? And instead of, highlighting other brands, I was like, you know what if I just made my own products? So that's what I did.
So it seems like community. I mean, that's really a major success factor for Voice of Hair. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I, so the first product that we created was our hair elixir. So that's what I use to kind of, help restore my hair. And I sent it to friends and family and a couple of like close influencers that I knew from social media. And they were like, oh, I love this oil. Yes, please let me know when this is available to buy. So when I was ready to launch, like I created a private group, and I asked them like to help me with the name of the product. I asked them like what benefits are you looking for. So I utilized their input to create the product. And even with our product extensions that we've created since then, I mean, it's really come from their feedback.
What's your social media strategy overall?
Well, because I started, so now we started on Instagram, and then we added Facebook and Pinterest, and now we're on TikTok as well. So we have like all the platforms. And so my goal is at least to always like have, a presence, even though I know I have like channels that really convert for us and also help us, connect with our community. But right now, our strategy is really to continue to grow the community, but we really like to keep people engaged. So when I did decide to launch products, I didn't want to just turn the page into a platform that was all about me and my products, because that's not how people found me. And I felt like that wasn't, truly genuine to what Voice of Hair was. So we still do highlight a lot of great hairstyles, hairstylist tutorials, and try to provide like that education for people through our blogs. But we do also let people know, like, hey, we sell products. If you're looking for a solution, we have that solution for you.
So it's sharing knowledge, really. I mean, it's thought leadership for hair. You're delivering
Yeah.
value. I'd say that your first step is to deliver value to your audience, deliver it on a consistent basis. I mean, I was just bowled over by the amount of content that you have on your Instagram channels, and I've checked a few of your other channels out. Um, what's really great about the community that you've built here, Brandelyn, is that it's like it's a lot of user submitted content as well. So you're not limiting to just pitching product. It's, hey, let's look at these new styles and look at just really creative things that people are doing with hair.
Yeah, and actually that has been, I would say, like the biggest blessing for our business, because when I did finally launch products, and I still do have people who will message me and say, "Hey, I would love to try your products and make content for you." So sometimes, I get people influencers, hairstylists, or people who I can see from their profile that they actually know what they're doing, but they'll say, "Hey, would you send me the products? Can I make content for you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So it's kind of, mutually beneficial, because then I can give them exposure, and in return I can get content that, we can share.
Yeah. Um, so it's primarily e-commerce, and from I read that you had a product release that was just hitting up on the supply chain crunch of late last year. How did you work through that? Because you were able to successfully launch something right during the supply chain packaging shortage.
Yeah.
Can you
So
talk about
like I
that?
said, when we first launched, we had literally just one product, which was our hair elixir, and I knew that while people like the oil, it helped them to restore the hair, moisturize it, but that's not like a complete hair care solution, especially for a woman who is looking for overall hair health. So I knew we needed a shampoo, conditioner, you know, leave-in, all those things, and I tried to launch this product, like, honestly, right before the pandemic hit, and had some like slowdowns right like in December when things were supposed to roll out of December 2019. So then um, I ordered enough packaging and supplies so that once the manufacturer that I'm working with was ready and had all of the raw ingredients, that he can just go and get the products made for me. Because that was, I mean, it's one thing when you're making products at home and you're making like 50 at a time, but I was trying to scale and make more, and I needed a partner who could do that. But the packaging was something that was a big issue, because like droppers, for example, these were like 8 months back ordered, bottles, jars. So I used the money that I had available. I ordered enough to keep me around for like the next several months. And so thankfully when the packaging came in, he was able to go, whereas some of his other customers that he was working with, like, he had all their raw ingredients but had no packaging for them, so then they were delayed even further.
Wow, good move on your part. So are you completely self-funded, or have you ever sought financing?
We are self-funded, so we bootstrapped, um, and I think in the future becoming funded is something that could maybe help us, and we could actually grow a lot faster. But for now, we have been bootstrapping. So I think it's great, because then I own all of the company. But I would say there are some benefits to having a cash infusion from an investor. You can move a lot quicker. So it's not completely out of the you know off the radar for us. It's just not where we are right now.
One of the things that we hear a lot and from the Fed survey of small businesses of color, that they have a big challenge is getting access to capital. Do you think businesses of color get enough support from financial institutions, and could more be done?
I definitely think more could be done, and I feel that we don't typically get our fair share. I'm grateful that I've applied for a couple of grants and gotten some of those, which have helped float us, through some challenges that we've had. Um, a part of a couple of like business entrepreneur groups with other businesses of color, and even getting a line of credit is something that has been hard for a lot of my colleagues. So it's really tough, especially because it's not just the access, but it's like knowing where to go, who to talk to, and knowing the things that you have to have in order. You know, it's just there's that knowledge gap, but then there's also like the networking piece. And I feel like certain businesses, they some of these institutions don't understand. Like for hair care, it's like they don't understand it unless you can prove that you've had consistent sales and growth.
Yes, yes. These are great points. So how did COVID impact you? You and I had a few conversations leading up to um, our interview here, but could you share uh, what things have been like the last couple of years keeping your business running?
Yes. So I think in 2020, where we had like the peak, everything was shut down. For me, that was quite unexpected in just how many people were willing to, buy. I was selling on Amazon at the time. I wasn't able to keep up with the inventory on Amazon, and so eventually got off of Amazon. I'm back on now, but for I was off for about 6 months, so because we were really low on our inventory with our hair elixir, and that was the only product we had at the time. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges. Since things have opened back up, I would say it's still difficult in terms of the additional delays, mostly with supply chain. And then now with inflation, I mean, every supplier that I've worked with, their costs continue to creep up. And I get it, everybody is getting squeezed, but it does make it a little bit challenging in terms of like forecasting and your margin and your profit that you're going to have. So those are some of the challenges we've been trying to work through.
Yeah, but you're surviving, and I would say I'd say you're thriving. I mean, based on the growth that I've seen in what you're doing there with social media, and always having new content. I actually watched your aloe vera uh, video. I know it's from last year, but I'm like, this is genius. I mean, that's part of growing a thriving community, is doing how tos and sharing your own personal experience, right?
Right. And I think honestly, there are so many brands, especially in the Black hair care market. I think a lot of people have jumped in because they see that it's growing and it's low barrier entries. But the one thing that I feel like I can do is to try to connect with people on a personal level. So even if it's just going live and giving them some tips, at least they can see that I'm a real person and not just like, this figure, this brand. So that's the one way that I'm able to distinguish myself from like some of the bigger brands that you might see, in retail.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received about running a small business?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, well, I would say like as a product-based business, um, talking to your customers is so vital. And when I say talking to them, I'm not just saying um, like on social media and like having a like responding to their comments. I mean like calling your customers and understanding, hey, why did you buy from me? Why do you keep buying, or why didn't you buy again? These are questions that are sometimes uncomfortable, but I think have been very helpful for me in terms of figuring out like what our next step is or the things that are missing in our business. Because from the outside looking in, or even I'm in the business every day and I think we have things together. But when I talk to a customer and they tell me I had a really hard time checking out and I didn't understand, this process, it's like, wow, okay, if you had that problem, then there are hundreds of people who've also experienced that and just haven't told me. So I would say that has been like the most enlightening and most beneficial thing
You,
that I've
you've
done.
you've set up the website to have that flow of customer experience reviews, and that's something that a lot of e-commerce businesses kind of miss, right from the beginning. Um, I see that as a very important success factor. There is getting reviews, but also, listening to maybe some of your detractors if people haven't had a good experience, responding, and you're saying get in there and communicate with them directly and try to understand where could things could have gone better, right?
Yes, like I have a customer service manager who, all of those kind of issues, customer issues, they get bubbled up to her, and you know, small things like, hey, I have a quick question, or hey, this coupon code didn't get applied. She won't come to me for that. But if there's a customer who says like the product didn't work, or the product, she had some sort of experience with it, then I actually will a lot of times call that customer and just let them know, hey, this is who I am. I'm the founder. I heard you had an issue. Can you help me understand what happened and how we can make that right for you? And I think most often when people get those kind of calls, they're first of all like, wow, you're calling me, but secondly, they'll oftentimes pour out their hearts to me, and so it usually it's a way to win back customers as well.
Yeah. Well, it keeps that community growing, and because that positive experience is going to feed on itself, because that person's going to go out and say, I had something that maybe was initially not a good moment of magic for with this hair product, but then the founder contacted me, and oh, it's just fantastic. It got revolved, and you know that story is going to be shared. So good for you for taking a hands-on approach to customer service. Thinking
Thank you.
about business in 2022, Brandelyn, is the glass half empty or is it half full for small businesses?
I think it's still half full. Um, I think we just have to figure out other ways to kind of stand out, because I think the pandemic has done a lot of things for small, like a lot of good things for small businesses. I mean, I think it's created a lot of new opportunities, even making people more comfortable with, for example, e-commerce and buying online, creating services that people didn't realize they needed. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, but I think we as small business owners really have to figure out how to stand out from the noise. And some of that is, it really comes down to spending more time like with segmentation, understanding our customers and getting really clear on what their needs are, and then speaking specifically to those needs, and not trying to just, address every problem that you think a customer has, but maybe picking that one need and being everything to that customer.
That's wonderful. Well, Brandelyn, thank you so much for taking time out to share about your business and your strategy for building a thriving community on social media. And want to remind our listeners to follow up with Brandelyn and check out our website. It's voiceofhaircare.com. And on Instagram, if you look up Voice of Hair, she has almost 1 million followers. Incredible. And some of the content on there is really fantastic. So go check it out.
Thank you so much for having me, Gary.
You're very welcome.